선정장 at Fremont Fair, and now I'm with Mike Buckman, and he is communications manager for Solid Ground.
Well, the Fremont Fair is a great party. It's a great event, but for us at Solid Ground, it's also all about involving the community in important issues around helping low-income people and helping to solve the problems of poverty. And this year at the fair, what we're doing is building a house in concert with Habitat for Humanity and United Way of King County. We're putting up a house for a needy family, and a family that's a low-income family will eventually move into this house. The house will be relocated to another site. We can't leave it here in Fremont. But we're doing it because it's to help one family and because it's a way to involve everybody in our community in the effort to end homelessness. And so we see this like a traditional barn raising as a way to get the community involved, let people get their hands involved, pound in a nail, make a personal commitment to ending homelessness. And that's why we're here this weekend, and it's been a great weekend for us. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people participate in the project, come and learn more about us, learn more about our partners like Habitat and United Way, and we're excited about what's going on this weekend.
How many volunteers do you have?
We've had about 150 volunteers on the house project, and the rest of the fair, about 400 volunteers have helped us collect donations, talk about the work that we do, and of course run the event, run the fair itself.
So how long have you been doing this?
How many years? The fair is in its 36th year. Solid Ground has been running the fair for all but 2 of those years. And we used to be called Fremont Public Association. We came from this Fremont neighborhood and just changed the agency name to Solid Ground this year. So we've been involved in the fair for 34 years now.
And what is the meaning, the Solid Ground?
Solid ground is the goal for the families that we work with. People who are homeless, people who are in transition, people who are feeling unstable or insecure. Our programs, and we have 30 different programs, help them get back to solid ground. So it's a metaphor for what we're trying to do with homeless and low-income families in the community. And each year we serve about 30,000 families throughout King County. We have 30 different programs ranging from shelter to an organic farm that grows food for the food bank system, to a used car program that sells vehicles to low-income people that need a cheap, affordable, easy to maintain car to get a better paying job. So we do as much as we can to help people get back to solid ground.
So how was your feeling when you have the people and they were so happy?
Well, you know, it feels great. That's one of the great things about this organization is every day we have success stories. Every day we have families that are able to get their lives back together, that are able to reunite with their children, get into stable housing, to solve their credit problems, to get a better job. And for us, what it's all about is finding ways for the entire community to participate in that work. So we have our staff, but we have hundreds of volunteers, actually thousands of volunteers that help throughout the year, thousands of donors who contribute to this. And it's really a community-wide program to help people in need in our community.
And how could you get involved in this program?
The best way to find out about us is through our website at www.solid-ground.org, or our main phone number is 206-694-6700. And there are lots of volunteer opportunities and lots of our programs that really need people to be involved.
And what about you? How did you get involved in this program?
I was working at a small nonprofit that was a furniture bank for homeless people. It's called the Share House. And I was interested in working in a bigger organization that had further reach into the community and the capacity to do more things. And I had known about what was then called Fremont Public Association through some of my associates. And I was lucky enough to find a place here. And I've been here for about 12 years now.
Talking about your sponsorships.
Sure. At the Fremont Fair, we have a number of sponsors that support the production of the fair, and they help us profit from the operation of the fair and put our money into operating programs. At the house build, we have some very special sponsor relationships because it costs, even though it's all volunteer labor, it costs a lot of money to buy the wood to build this house. And Google has stepped up. Google, is relatively new to the Seattle, King County community. They have an office here in Fremont and an office in Kirkland as well. And it's one of the first big projects, philanthropic things that they've done in our community. And they have stepped up in a very significant way to support quite a bit of the funding of raising this house, building this house. In addition, the Master Builders Association, the folks that do construction work in the community, have supported this. And of course, United Way has put a lot of their resources behind it as well. But we would not be here without Google. And in addition to money, they brought 40 volunteers over the course of the weekend. And they've been pounding in a lot of nails and lining up boards and helping us to build this house.
And how do you choose the people that can live here?
The selection of the families is through Habitat for Humanity, and they have a very deliberate program in how they select their families. They're families who have certain income requirements for the starters, and then the families are required to put in 500 hours they call sweat equity in building Habitat houses. So each year they have a group of families that they'll be moving into permanent housing. This year they're doing 8 houses on their location at Snoqualmie Ridge, as well as some additional houses in Redmond. And among those 8 families, one of them will live in this house, but they don't get to choose their house until they have 300 hours accumulated of their work. So later this summer or early fall, one of the families will get to select this house. This will be a 3-bedroom house, about 1,200 square feet, that'll be going up in Snoqualmie Ridge. And they'll be taking this apart. Actually, that's what the crews are doing now, is taking the wall units apart. And they're going to stack them up, and we're going to bring a big flatbed truck in here tonight. We're going to stack the walls up and move the house up to Snoqualmie Ridge. We'll reassemble it like a jigsaw puzzle, put it back together, and then finish the house up there over the next few months. And I think around Thanksgiving time is when we'll welcome a family to their new home.
And how could the family can keep their house, like tax and fee?
The families that get into the Habitat houses actually purchase the houses. It's a home ownership program. They purchase it at a very reduced rate. They're basically paying the materials alone. And this house will be sold for somewhere in the range of $95,000 or $100,000 in a community where a similar house that was a commercially built house would probably cost $500,000, $600,000. The family owns the house, but they do not own the land. Habitat has a land trust, and they maintain ownership of the land, and the families agree that if they ever want to move out, move on up to a better house or a different location, they have to offer the house back to Habitat and back to another Habitat family, so that Habitat can control the idea that low-income families will continue to have the resource of their houses as long as the houses are in existence. Then they also have a home ownership group, so that all the families there contribute to the shared maintenance of the community up there of the Habitat houses, and it keeps the properties in great shape, painted, well maintained, the grounds look nice, and it's a wonderful community to start over in.
현장장 at Fremont Fair, and I've been talking with Mike Buckman, who is communications manager for Solid Ground. Thank you.